Look at this map. These are the surface winds. They are moving away from the coast. Can I call it as offshore wind? As it is moving away from the coast. These offshore winds, it is dragging the warm waters from this area. And these warm waters will be, more or less, they will be piled up on the other coast. So when you have the formation of vacuum, some empty space in the water, obviously it is filled with some other water. And for that purpose, water should come from the interiors of the water body. And the interiors, you have cold water. We call it as upwelling. So due to upwelling, here you have the scope for the presence of cold current. Okay. Cold Peruvian current. In India region, especially this is Madagascar of Africa. To the east of Madagascar, there is a Mascarene Ridge. Mascarene Ridge, it is not given there. In this area, there would be some kind of high pressure center that is responsible for sending southwest monsoons towards India. So on India, I told you that due to the differential heating, you have low pressure on Indian land mass, high pressure in Indian oceanic mass. Okay, especially this high pressure where in Mascarene Ridge region of southern Indian Ocean. And from here, these winds are coming towards India, where you have the low pressure center is located. So in the southern hemisphere, they move like this due to the influence of Coriolis force. After entering into the northern hemisphere, they get deflected to the right. So these are called southwest monsoons. They are moving towards India. Now, can I say that as long as this Mascarene pressure center, high pressure is stronger, you can expect a very good rainfall in India? When you have the strong high pressure center pushing the winds, what about their scope to pick up the moisture? Increases, okay? And when they approach the coast, they yield rainfall, orographic rainfall. Got the point, okay? Now, point is, in the west coast of South America, regular current is cold current, okay? Cold current in the sense, what about the temperature? Low temperature. And what about the pressure? High pressure, okay? But sometimes what happens, especially for every 3 to 7 years, I told you that one of the reasons for the presence of cold current here is offshore movement of trade winds. For suppose, if the velocity or speed of the trade winds is coming down, what will happen to their capacity to drag the warm waters away from the coast of South America? Decreases, okay? When the warm waters are not able to being dragged to a greater extent, do you have the scope for upwelling of cold water? No. Which means that, can I say that here you will have the warm water at that point of time whenever you have the weakening of trade winds? Listen carefully, okay? So for every 3 to 7 years, due to the weakening of trade winds, the regular cold waters or regular cold Peruvian current is replaced by warm waters. Got the point? Which means that, what about the temperature right now? Whenever you have the replacement of cold Peruvian current with warm waters, high temperature. And what about the pressure? Low pressure. We all know that wind blows from high pressure to low pressure, okay? Here you have one pressure center which is pushing the winds towards India. Now, because of the formation of this new low pressure center, this pressure center starts sending some winds towards this, okay? As a result, what will happen to the net amount of winds that ought to be received by India? Decreases. If that is the case, what about the rainfall in India? Decreases. This is called as El Niño. El Niño means replacement of cold Peruvian current with warm waters results in reduced rainfall in India. For the point, time and again, IMD declares, okay, this time we are expecting El Niño impact, so most probably it would be deficit rainfall, below normal rainfall. Got the point? Okay. Indian rainfall is not just influenced by El Niño only, okay? You have some other factors, but I am discussing about the El Niño right now, okay? Why this is happening? Because of the weakening of trade winds. Then why the weakening of trade winds takes place for every 3 to 7 years? It's still a kind of enigmatic thing. Enigma in the sense, some kind of mystery. It can be either due to some kind of, reduced speed on the part of rotation of the earth, or increased or reduced fluctuations in terms of distance between the sun and the earth, or tiltation. What is meant by tiltation? 23.5 degrees. Earth rotates from the standard axis, you will have some kind of deviation, that is called as tilt. If there is some kind of changes in the tiltation, automatically that will affect the temperature changes. When temperature changes are taking place, what about the pressure? Obviously it gets changed. But you cannot fix particular reason as the specific reason for weakening of the trade winds. It takes place for every 3 to 7 years. Got it? Okay. Now, after that, again strengthening of trade winds occurs, which means that for a certain period of time they will be weak. Then after that they again become stronger. When they become stronger, what about their capacity to drag the waters? Increases. No, normal condition. But sometimes what happens, the strength of trade winds increased tremendously when compared to the regular velocity. As a result, what about their capacity to drag the warm waters? Very high. At that point of time, vacuum formed would be very extensive. In order to fulfill that, more amount of cold water should come from the deep portions of the oceans. As a result, compared to the regular Peruvian current, what about the temperature here? Very low. Okay. If temperature is very low, what about the pressure? Very high. At that point of time, this very high pressure center sends some winds towards Mascarenes Ridge region. The combined effect of these winds will move towards India. What about the rainfall in India at that point of time? Increases. That is why this effect is called as La Nina, which will have a positive impact on Indian monsoonal rainfall. Whenever you have the La Nina impact phenomenon, that is going to affect Indian monsoonal rainfall in a positive manner. El Nino and La Nina. Generally, El Nino comes first, followed by La Nina. For more clarity, you can observe here. Okay, this is the cold Peruvian current, and here you have the warm waters. During the El Nino, warm waters are there at South American coast only. Okay, as a result, high temperature, low pressure. And during the El Nino, again you have more cold waters. Okay, again very high pressure, positive impact.